Joining us on the line live from America, it's a big welcome to the show, Zach from Hanson. G'day, Zach.
Hey there.
How's things over there in the States?
Good. Weather's good, but I'm looking forward to coming down and seeing you guys pretty soon.
Awesome. We can't wait for it, mates. And look, the band's back. They got their new album, Shout It Out, and it's your 5th studio album, actually. And I hear it has a real organic feel to it, paying homage to the music that first inspired the band. Tell us a bit about what we can expect from the new record.
Sure. Something that's always been a huge inspiration for us was late 50s and early 60s rock and roll records and Motown. And I think you could hear that in songs like Bop and songs like Where's the Love off of our very first record, or at least the first record people heard. But this new album, it's just a little more in the forefront. It just, I think it's not a caricature, but there's some textures and things on the record that really accentuate that feeling that's always been a part of who we are. I think the horn parts in particular, the bass player who plays on a lot of the record, who sadly recently passed away, Bob Babbitt, who played on Stevie Wonder tracks back in the day, and it was great to have him play and just put his sound on there.
And Zach, did those obviously that inspiration with your music, did that come from your family, from mum and dad initially?
Well, interestingly, it's kind of before our parents' time. We spent a little time overseas because of our dad's job when we were kids. And one of the things that happened was we brought along some compilation tapes because there wouldn't be English-speaking music. We were in South America for a year, and that was really where it came from. We were listening to these compilations of, oldies hit radio, essentially. And a lot of it was 50s and 60s rock and roll, Chuck Berry, Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Sam and Dave, kind of that stuff. And then, that love just, it sparked something, and we went on to listen to, later and later records, different kinds of things, and, always pulling a little bit of each thing into the influences, but that's kind of at that core of who we are.
Definitely, yeah. It's not every day you hear of, like, I suppose, younger people paying homage to Motown music. So I think it's really different. Something that I was definitely taken by when I first came across Hanson.
Absolutely, and I think too, Zach, as well, having the fact that to have the late Bob Bassett and also Jerry Hay, who's also worked with Michael Jackson, that must have been such a privilege for you guys.
Sure. No, I mean, without that, the record had a certain feel to it. We played a lot of it live off the floor, the three of us playing together. That's not really the way most records are tracked these days. I mean, for people who aren't sort of knowing about how studio records are made. But we decided to do that. We track it live, a lot of it. Even some of the vocals are live, performed with the band. And then when you had Bob Babbitt and Jerry Hay, Jerry Hay worked on basically, all kinds of, all the Quincy Jones records, all the Michael Jackson records. So he just has a signature kind of pop arrangement with the way he does horns. That's just, it's just sort of very stylistically perfect for what we wanted. And Bob, obviously, he's played on all kinds of Motown records, being a funk brother. It sort of took what we already were naturally doing and then made more of it. And it's an honor to have both of them, and obviously to be one of the last records Bob played on before he passed away was a particular honor for us.
Yeah, it would be. Now, Zach, we came across an amazing statistic the other day. 1 in 10 Australians owns a copy of Hanson's album Middle of Nowhere, and I think it's fair to say Australia loves you here.
Amazing. That blows me away.
One in 10.
Yeah, obviously, we've had some amazing response from fans in Australia, and it's sort of a shame that it's been so long since we've been back. Hopefully, our plans, this year, obviously, we're about to do in September throughout Australia, new record coming out. But hopefully, even to be back in 2013 with even more new music.
Mm. Well, what would you say was your fondest memory of Australia when you were here last time?
Well, we've had some crazy experiences. I mean, showing up to, an in-store signing and thinking there would be a couple thousand people, and there were 30,000 people, things like that, which is just crazy.
It's just the way we do it. That's the way we do it here.
One of my, not in Australia, but one of my Australia-related memories. So I was a huge fan of Steve Irwin, and he sent me a signed autograph and was like, "Hey, we're big fans of you guys too." That was a big thing for me. Sad when he passed away. God, I'm talking about a lot of people who passed away, aren't I?
I know. It's all right. It's just how it is.
Let's just hope we stay here as well.
Very, very big indeed, the crocodile hunter, and I know huge success over in America. I almost felt, Dave, that he was like bigger in America than he was in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach, have you been to Australia Zoo yet?
I have never been to Australia Zoo. I need to make a point of it and do that. Got to do it.
Put it on the diary.
That's it, the bucket list. Now, it's been 7 years, Zach, since your last record. What have you guys been doing during that time?
Yeah, no, it's been like 7 years since we were last in Australia, and for a lot of reasons, none of them good. We have just not been able to make it back, and we had another record that we didn't end up releasing in Australia called The Walk, now we're finally sort of getting things in place, in line, the way we've wanted them to be. In 2003, we formed our own record, and with that just has come just different kinds of workloads. And as the music business has changed a lot, finding the right partners to release records with is really just it's a harder marketplace to be in, and so it's taken us more time. But hopefully, this. It's just we're now in a place where we're coming down. We're building, sort of fixing some of those bridges, and the opportunities to come back are plentiful. All of us are married. All of us have kids. I mean, there's lots of stuff like that has gone on in the last few years.
I know. What about that? I mean, that's one of the big things for us that I've noticed, Zach, is that time has gone quick, I guess, and as you said, You've all got families now. I want to know, are the kids inspired to grow their hair long just like Dad, or do they want to do their own thing?
It all depends. Isaac's kids have pretty long hair. One of his sons, you get that joke of being a little girl, but he's a boy, long blonde hair. My son, to be honest, he's more focused on karate and, how to catch frogs. Kind of the things you'd expect of little boys.
Yes.
But he's 4, so we'll see how things turn out when he gets a little older. If he gets interested in music, it's obviously tons of music around, tons of musical instruments around. One thing, the opportunities I've had just since being a little kid and being successful is just the ability to be creative in your life is such a cool thing, and so in whatever way I can, whether it's music or not, I'd like to give him that outlet.
Absolutely. I think that's well answered. And you come from a family of 6 siblings, and of course, Isaac, Taylor, you're the oldest brothers. But music seems to run in the family. Did your younger siblings play some music as well, and did you ever hold family auditions?
No.
No.
Or no auditions. Well, definitely. I mean, our other siblings, they're creative in their own ways. I think none of them have pursued music probably because of us, because it's sort of like, I don't want to be the other Hanson doing music.
Expansion.
We have a brother who's a writer, and he's pursuing acting. We have a sister who's a painter. She lives in New York and is painting and sort of working towards a career being an artist. And we have another sister who works for us and does a lot with our merchandise, designing, and being involved in all that stuff. So art and creativity is definitely in the fam.
Yeah, very artistic.
Very creative.
Yeah, for better or worse. I think having a job where you get to be creative, I think, is addictive. And you guys probably feel that too. Going to the radio and talking about things you enjoy. You get to, I want to do an interview with this guy or that guy, and sort of pursue it. That's pretty cool.
No, it doesn't get much better than that.
Not this interview. I know you were forced into this one, but
No.
Not at all. Big fan, Zach, so not at all, mate. But talking about fans, you guys currently hold the record for the loudest concert in history. How do you think your Aussie concerts will compare?
in a bittersweet way, I hope to never top that, because that concert was actually painful. The concert that was it was in Toronto, in Canada, and I remember walking off stage, almost feeling like someone had hit me with a frying pan. Your head hurt. You almost felt like your ears were going to start bleeding. Like, that's how loud it was. You felt the scream as a physical presence. It sort of pushed you back in your seat. So it was amazing, and it's amazing to hold that record. But maybe with better earplugs this time we can go for it again.
How do you even hear your music when you're playing on stage and the sound's that deafening?
Well, you don't, and neither does the audience. I don't think anyone heard a single word or note we played at that show. We would start a song, and after the first note, as soon as the fans realized what song we were playing, they'd just lose their minds. It was the same thing all night long, and it was a loud show.
Yeah.
Well, look, and also I want to know, that would have been a crazy concert, and I'm sure there's crazy things that have happened on tour. What is the craziest thing that's happened to you guys?
Oh, well, I feel bad sometimes because, we've been a band for 20 years, and 15 years since, Bob, and since being sort of successful on a multinational level, on a worldwide level, and so you start to lose perspective on some of these things that are so amazing that you've experienced. One of my favorite memories, as far as a crazy thing that happened, was we were doing a concert in the U.S. in Florida, and it was a show for maybe 5,000 people, but they had this step in front of the stage. For some reason, I don't know why this never occurred, there was a step. And so about 5 songs in, somebody figured out, I can just go straight from the audience right onto the stage. And so one person came on stage, and then 2 minutes passed, and 3 people came on stage. And then all of a sudden, the whole audience came to that same realization. And it was the most, I felt like a Beatle for a moment, just like running through the backstage. Like we all dropped our instruments and started running and ran through the backstage. And there's literally a horde of human beings, like, flying onto the stage, chasing us down the hallways, jumping on people's backs. And finally, we got to the loading bay. And we had come to the concert in like a cargo van or, something like that. And we just piled into the van and took off as, I felt like we were being attacked by, locusts. That sounds wrong. But just like the way it overflowed and just people pouring and jumping on top of each other, it was wild.
That'd be crazy. It'd be so much fun, though, at the same time.
For sure.
It is. It's a great memory. Now, it's fun when you get out. I had a similar experience one of the first times we experienced sort of like crazy crowds. We'd been a local band for years. We'd played a couple hundred shows before we were ever signed. We played for audiences, but never experienced hysteria. And one of the first times we had an audience like that was just sort of trying to rip your clothes off, we started to run away, and I literally got trampled and got my shirt ripped. Like started ripping my shirt off before somebody came and drug me by my arms out of the audience. I have a scar on my bicep from where a fan just a few years ago wouldn't let go and tried to pull me into the crowd and rip a big long catch out of my arm.
They're going to take you home, Zach. Capture you.
DNA samples.
DNA sample. Oh, that is hilarious.
Great stories.
So when it works out, and there's this hot adrenaline rush, it's kind of scary when it doesn't.
Absolutely. But look, Zach, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us.
No problem. Glad to do it. Please come out to one of the shows.
We should actually.
We'll be security.
We'll be marshalling.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you,
Definitely,
Zach.
man. Take it easy, brother.
Thanks, guys.